perfect. I'm curious. This video just popped up on my feed, so I gotta see what this is all about.
For those of you who are new to the channel, which is probably going to be most of you, this is not a topic I would usually cover in one of my videos. In fact, this was actually supposed to be a video about Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. This was supposed to be a more in-depth review of the game after completing it, as the first one was just based on a 3-hour demo. But some of the comments in my previous video, and also
I heard this game is woke. Is that true? Yes, very avoid at all costs. Okay, thanks, G. Y'all are not okay, Lamau.
many other review videos, had me a bit confused. So instead of the regular overview slash review style video, I thought we'd try something different. First of all, let me say, I hate talking politics in games. In fact, I hate talking politics in general. Main reason being, I don't have a firm grasp on the matter. I tend to gloss over articles covering anything political in the gaming space. Also, I'm not the best person to be discussing these kind of matters. There's way more articles and channels out there that are more knowledgeable on these things. But I thought I'd give you my take on the discourse surrounding this game. It's not something that comes up in all Flintlock videos, but it's definitely prevalent on smaller channels where people tend to just say what they want.
I remember. So what people said, right, specifically about Flintlock, right? Apparently, the main character was supposed to be white. Apparently, so she wasn't supposed to be black originally. So she was supposed to be white, which is interesting.
On top of that, I should mention that as the video progresses, it goes beyond just the
Hey, look, Crash Bandicoot in the background.
and
Hey,
it
nice.
gets more
I like that.
in general about
That's
the
cool.
topic at hand. I just thought I'd let you know. If at this point you have no idea what I'm alluding to, then good for you, really. And if you do, then you know I'm talking about Sweet Baby Inc.'s inclusion in the development of this game. I used to fall into that former group of blissful ignorance, but the comments on my previous video had me forced to take a crash course on the matter, with people calling the game woke and...
Not me. I speak with my wallet. If a company is more worried about an agenda than the actual game, I'd rather just pass. And anything Sweet Baby Inc. Anything that Sweet Baby Inc. puts its hands on, I'll avoid it like the plague. Yeah, yeah, same. You know what? I'm the same thing too as well. I pretty much don't want to touch anything that Sweet Baby Inc. touches. So yeah, it's just all the previous games just has the most stereotypical like shit ever, to be honest. The MC looks like Kim Bel-Air. I have no idea who the hell that is, to be honest. Let me see. Can I see real quick? Let me copy this. I don't know any actors or anything like that. So if you're telling me about actors, I know jack shit all about actors. So. Okay, maybe. No, it's supposed to look like someone else. So. I don't know, to be honest. I don't fucking know. Hey, Zhao.
avoiding it like the plague apparently. For those of you who don't know, Sweet Baby Inc. is basically a consultation studio that assists game developers to create more diverse and inclusive games. And for the record going forward, I'm going to refer to them as SBI because I mentioned it way too many times and I'm not going to say Sweet Baby Inc. over and over again. Firstly, I'm pretty sure Flintlock doesn't credit SBI at any point, and having played through the game, I can't say there's anything there pushing this woke agenda people keep mentioning. Then again, maybe I'm not looking out for that kind of thing. Look.
Yeah, maybe you're not. Maybe you're just that type of gamer, so that's super casual, right? That doesn't really care, right? Like this person doesn't really know, right? This person doesn't know about Sweet Baby Inc., right? That he had to do a crash course on Sweet Baby Inc. in order to know about Sweet Baby Inc., you know? So that's one of the issues or so.
I'm not advocating for SBI. In fact, my knee-jerk reaction to hearing about these companies is, why do they even exist in the first place? Then I flash back to a black dude in a game with a blonde bob cut and I think to myself, this looks a bit unnatural. Maybe the devs don't know exactly what they're doing. That's why proper representation is extremely important. It's not just about giving your character the option to change their skin color, it's more than that. In certain cases, I do believe consultation teams like SBI are necessary. That being said, I don't have a problem with SBI, but I will say they are doing a great job of undoing any positive impact a company like theirs could be making. SBI has been open about some of their scummy business practices and how they sometimes manipulate the devs to get what they want. Look, at the end of the day, it really comes down to the people at the head of these companies, whether it be SBI or A44 Games, the creators of Flintlock, making decisions on behalf of a name. And we as consumers are encouraged to speak with our wallets, so we don't support practices we don't agree with. That's perfectly fine, but there has been a lot of discourse surrounding the game's woke agenda, and this has obviously hurt the game's reputation. So in turn, we have voted with our wallets to damn a studio that has not been given a fair chance. A studio whose employees probably had no say as to what decisions were made at the top. The sad part is, we might see A44 shut down in the near future, and a small part of that will be our fault. Obviously releasing a
Why do you say a part of us is our fault? It shouldn't be our fault, you know? If you make a pretty like subpar, you know, because I heard the game was pretty you know, it was pretty average, you know, it wasn't super great, it wasn't super terrible, it was just kind of mid or so. So if the game is kind of mid, right, you know, as in gameplay wise and like mechanically wise, right, because Dark played this game, so like. So you know, let's just move the woke agenda, the whole thing aside, right? All I've been hearing most of the times, right, for the gameplay and the mechanic itself is just it's just pretty average. You know, it doesn't excel on anything too great, and it doesn't like, you know, it doesn't fail on anything too terribly. It was just kind of like pretty much in the middle of the road. That's what a lot of people say, right? Let me see if I pop up Flintlock, right? Let me see. Let's just take a look. Let's take a look real fast. Let's see, Flintlock. Right, so let's just scroll down a little bit, right? So let's go down and then let's do. So here it is. Here's one right here. This person has put 8 hours into the game, right? Pretty good rough hours, right? They said completed the main story, but really can't recommend. Feels unfinished in too many areas, which is probably reflected in the price. Combat and traversal has a cool moment, and ultimately it could have been something, but isn't. So yeah, it's just a lot of them. It just completely just says the game always crashes when I beat the first phase of the final boss. I can't finish it. That's pretty reasonable. They put 8 hours into it too. I started out strong with the fizzled out into nothing. You can't get achievements when you play the game for a story. Just not fun. There you go. Just not fun. Let's see. I actually had to refund this game from the creators of Ashen. Truly marvelous game. Game settings, great story, breathtaking soundtrack, Souls-like battle, so great. Then there's Flintlock. Story-wise, the game instantly makes you hate the protagonist. Let's just say you don't build strong female lead characters like that. End the story. Destroy a barrier from which comes a horde of undead, only to be turned around when it happens to be the other way around, and it locks some gods away that you need to kill now. Not enticing at all. Gameplay Souls-like feels a bit clunky and unpolished on release. Timing of blocks and rolling is a bit off too, but that was my skill issue. Soundtrack, like the Ashen, the composer is E. Hillman, an amazing soundtrack, but it's cursed to be on a flopping game. All in all, the story and the protagonist made it not interesting and killed all the joy I had for this game. I wanted to learn all the mechanics of the world in Ashen, but here it's a blank and bleak. So a lot of it is just literally just the gameplay itself. So it's just like, honestly, that's the only thing, right? Like a lot of people say, like, you know, it's just how it is, right? Even from like kind of like looking at it specifically, right? It felt kind of a bit rough in some of the areas, but I was gonna give it benefit of the doubt, right? But unfortunately, you know, Sweet Baby Inc. of course touched it, and then we heard about stories about that Sweet Baby Inc. kind of fucked this studio over, you know, in certain aspects. If you haven't taken a look at that, you can just search that up specifically. But yeah,
mediocre game with low sales will be the main contributing factor, but there's no denying we would have played a small part in that game's downfall. I've seen videos post-release calling the game things like woke slop and declaring it dead on arrival. If you have played the game, you know that this is bullshit, as I'm pretty
I don't know about that, dude. I don't know, man. It's just like, here, let me see. The game's pretty average, to be honest. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. How many people are playing this game? Let's see. How many people are playing this game right now? Yeah. Yeah, only like 24 people. There's the graph right there, you know? Let's go by like 1 week ago, you know? What's the highest that it had? 123? 648. I don't know where the fuck that. I don't know where the hell that's at. Oh, yeah, over here. Hold on. Oh, there you go. There you go. 648. 648. Yep. At the day, so. Hey, Cypress. But yeah, like I said, and then it just kept going, and then just kept going down and down and down and down. And down and down, so. You can see the graph itself, so. This thing is struggling to have more than 100 players playing this game, to be honest. Like, honestly, it's pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. It's actually pretty bad. So yeah, the graph's right there, you know. Like, honestly, you can't really beat a graph and proof and shit. So, you know, it's just average. It's just like a lot of the negatives or so. It's literally about the story and the main character and then the mechanics of the game. That's it. You know, it's just okay. It's just an okay game. It's not super great, but it's not super bad. It's just kind of in the middle of the road, you know?
pretty sure the devs had walked back most of the changes SPI made on the game. Yes, they did work together at some point, but A44 does not credit them in any way. I imagine the direction SPI were going did not match A44's vision, so people screaming SPI ruined another game is simply spreading misinformation.
Where are you getting this information that they didn't? Okay, let me see. Can we pop out the Rev video real quick? Can we pop out that Rev video that real fast that it talked about it specifically? Development time to make woke, then development to make unwoke. That's time. Where's that video, right? So if you want to know specifically more about Flintlock itself, right? I recommend like what is it? Where is it at? Where the fuck is this video at? I saw it like a while ago or so from Rev. He did the Flintlock. He did the Flintlock video or so for this one. If I remember, where the fuck is it at? Where is it at? Let's see. Flintlock. Yeah, there you go. This one right here. This is the one. So this is the video. We saw this video or so specifically, where he literally goes in depth or so specifically on how Sweet Bay Inc. basically ruined fucking Flintlock, right? Because you can, you know, he goes in depth, right? This is like a whole nother topic, right? You can just look at the video yourself and you can take a look at it, right? But like this specific video literally goes in depth and goes more in the research or so on it on itself. So
yes, they did ruin it in a sense by A44 even associating with SPI in the first place. But saying SPI ruined it implies that
yeah, but did you know that this character was supposed to be originally white or so? It doesn't work, so it's not gonna work, Maki. But like, yeah, like I said, like this character was supposed to be originally white, so
they've already got the gabby little mitts on it and injected their ideals into the game. This is simply not true. This is my biggest issue I have with the discourse surrounding the game. While there are games out there that are pushing some sort of agenda, I don't believe that this is one of them. The funny part is that I'm trying to defend the reputation of a game I consider to be a 6 or a 7. It's by no means a great game. It's okay or good at best. But let that
Yeah, it's just an average game though. Like it doesn't excel too great. It doesn't excel too great and doesn't do too bad, But everybody in the negative reviews or so from Steam or so specifically asks, just they just think that the mechanics and then the mechanics of the game and the story
You
and
know
the
what
female
Sonic
character is
said?
just not the greatest. That's just about it. So
be the reason you skip this game, and not because the main character is a person of color. In one of the videos I saw, the reviewer pointed out there's only one white character in the traveling crew, which made me laugh because A, is there some white character quota that dictates whether a game is woke or not? And B, tokenism has been around for generations in all forms of media. I mean, even South Park has a black character named Token as a joke about black representation in media. What made me laugh is how the reviewer chose this example to be outraged about the matter.
hey, killer.
I think most of us sit in a space where we look at a game and just ask if the game is good or not. Diversity and inclusivity tends to go unnoticed.
It's not good. It's not good. What are people in the comment section saying about this? Our fault. We're not obligated to buy any game, so it's their fault for not making a product that would sell well. Yeah, of course, exactly. Like they decided. Okay, at the very end, right? You're saying the people who are in charge of the game, right, are the ones who are spearheading this specific project, right? Okay, so the mechanics that they did, right, is not part of Sweet Baby Inc., okay? The mechanics is what they decided to do, and they decided to implement it into the game, okay? All right? So that means it's their decision to make the game average. That's pretty much fucking it. So if they want to make an average game, they made an average game. That's pretty much it. Like a lot of the people in the Steam, you can literally check in some of the Steam reviews. Like they literally said that the mechanics, the story feels incomplete. They hate the main character. The main character feels like it's like you just kind of want to hate her the most. So
But as soon as it becomes forced, we express our outrage. The real issue is what is considered forced. Evidently, everybody has their own idea of what is too much. For some, it might just be a gay scene in the third episode of a critically acclaimed series, missing out on one of the best video game TV adaptations we've ever seen.
wait, what the fuck? They put a wait. They put a gay scene in The Last of Us. What? They did? What? Damn, that's crazy. To be honest, I've never seen The Last of Us, so I don't know. So I've only played the video games. That's about it. There was a whole episode in the live action, if I recall. A whole episode, really? Hey Sal. Damn, that's crazy. To be honest, that's actually crazy. I never even noticed. To be honest, I was like, who are these two characters, anyways? Who are these two characters? Like, who are these two? Are they anything like significant or so in the story or no? Yeah, it's just two gay men in a farm. Really? That's it? So it's just like two random. So it's just like two random actors or so. Interesting. Wait, a farm? What the fuck? I don't remember there ever being a farm in The Last of Us. What? What the hell? I don't remember there being a farm or so in the first Last of Us. There was a farm in The Last of Us 2. Is this what it's based off of? This is based off Last of Us 2, not Last of Us 1? Is that what? Why? Why would you do that? What? It's so weird. What? It's just random. Oh, okay. So it's not even following the story from the video game, man. Okay, I see. Okay, I see. I probably should look into it because I'm doing offhand information. Oh, okay.
A critically acclaimed series, missing out on one of the best video game TV adaptations we've ever seen.
I think I'd just rather play the video game in my personal opinion. I think the video game is just way better in my personal opinion, so.
To others, having a person of color as the main character is that threshold. Personally, I'm someone who doesn't really bother too much about diversity and inclusion in games, but I'm not completely oblivious to the discussions regarding the topic. The way I see it is, people in general are all for diversity and inclusion, provided it comes across as natural and not just.
If you didn't care, right? If you didn't care specifically, right, about the whole diversity, right? And why are you making a video about it though? Like it must have made you like care a little bit. If you're saying it didn't care, you know, if you don't care if the main protagonist is a white person or a black person or an Asian person or a Hispanic person or an Indian person or whatever, you know, under the sun, right? So it's just kind of like, okay, so then like, well, what's the point of you making this video if you said you don't care, you know? Like, like you care to some degree, I assume. Like, you can't say you do not care because you wouldn't make this video in the first place, you know?
Ticking boxes on a list. The problem is the extremists on either side of the argument, both saying some unruly shit and undoing the progress of those that genuinely wish for better representation. What's funny is, as an Indian dude, I can't name 3 cool Indian characters from any video games.
I want to say something, but I'll look it up after the video.
Would I like to see more Indian characters in games? Sure, why not? Do I need them shoehorned into a game simply to tick a diversity box? Fuck.
I think I might know one character off the top of my head, but I'm not gonna say it because I could be wrong. So that's why.
No.
Yeah, I think I know one too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think I know one. I think I know one. That's why I haven't said anything specifically.
Okay, this one's getting a bit long in the tooth, but let me know what you guys think. Am I being too naive, or is there really something here pushing an agenda? If there is something there, maybe I'm just not looking out for it, possibly. But that's gonna do it for the game itself. Maybe in the future I'll have more to say about Flintlock, but we'll leave it there for now. Talking in general though, the way I see it, the gaming space was initially dominated by and marketed to straight white males. But as it grows,
Well, of course, because that was just the audience itself. It's just males. It was just dudes. That's it. Just guys in general. You know, there was just a lot of white dudes. But at the same time, right? There was also a mixture of tan people. So if you don't remember from, what is it, from Nathan Drake, right? You got from Nathan Drake. I think you have like one character from Metal Gear, not from Metal Gear. I mean from Gears of War. You have one from Gears of War from there. I wonder why it says if one of the main targets or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think like old school. I'm trying to think like old school, right? You know, for main character protagonists, right? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head specifically of like old main characters, and I'm trying to like remember, like I'm trying to do this like off the top of my head specifically, you know. I didn't play too many games, that's why. That's the only reason why. Oh, you do have Titus from Final Fantasy X, of course. You have I'm gonna say this game though, but like it's kind of funny to mention this game specifically. The 50 Cent video game. If you guys know specifically because 50 Cent made a video game. So 50 Cent made a video game back then or so, and he wasn't white, so he was the main protagonist himself. Let me see. Who? 50 Cent. He's a rapper. Yeah, 50 Cent made a video game a long time ago. He was like the main protagonist. I think he made like 2 iterations or so. I think he made like 2 games. I'm trying to think. I can't think of off the top of my head, like literally off the top of my head, but if we go back, let's see. Let's see. The early 2000s. Let's see. Who do we have? You got fucking Ezio too as well. Let's see, Marcus Phoenix. Let's see, Max Payne, the Heavy. I'm trying to see if we can find some that's not fucking whatchamacallit. We're trying to find some that are not people of white or so. Let's see. Jason Brody, Sam Fisher, Frank Woods. Let's see. Yeah, because a lot of them specifically are white, right? But the ones that I just mentioned specifically did not have a main white protagonist, you know, which is kind of funny. Specifically, I'm surprised. It's like I don't have a list for me to take a look at specifically, right? To see every single one of them, right? For all the male protagonists. I swear, fucking Troy Baker's in fucking everything, to be honest. I swear to God. Troy Baker's in literally fucking everything. Oh yeah, you fucking Kiryu too as well. He's not even white, he's Asian too as well. I forgot about that too as well. Holy shit. I forgot about that from fucking Yakuza from back then or so. The old Yakuza before they remade him. Yeah. I forgot about that too. Let me see. Let's see. What do we have here? No, this is not from New School. This is from New School. It's not from Old School. Yeah, but he's not a main protagonist, so and that's pretty much it. Okay. It's a pretty short list, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, because what, back then or so, right? All the developers were like white guys, right? White nerdy dudes, right? And like in their mom's basement or so, right? Making video games and shit like that. That was basically the whole entire staff in and on itself, you know? Which like there's nothing wrong with it specifically, like honestly. It's just how it was back then, right? It's just literally how it was, you know? I don't think it's that fucking like crazy or so. I know Ezio's Italian or so. You got Kiryu from back then or so. Even though it's a meme or so, the 50 Cent guy or so, you know. Like you know, he is a main protagonist in his own game, so you know, I'm just saying.
There's no denying that we are seeing more diversity in both creators of the games and players. So obviously we're going to see more diversity in our games as a result. We need to work at our knee-jerk reaction to seeing things from outside our...
Yeah, but it doesn't, not every single game needs to have diversity. You know, there can be some games that just has only white people or only Asian people, like Sleeping Dogs, you know? Like Sleeping Dogs, goated game, of course, is all completely an entire Asian cast, you know? So like you don't need like there's just some games that just doesn't need diversity, you know? Like let's say for example like The Witcher, right? The Witcher 3 specifically, right? You know, it's made by a what, if I remember correctly, a Polish studio, right? That's making that made that game specifically, right? You know, they made that game in that specific region or so where back then or so it was just everyone was just white. That's it, you know? So like for people that make video games, it was either American, European, or the Japanese, which would lead the lighter skin tone. Yeah, because there was definitely there was definitely Japanese games or so that they made back then specifically. So
our comfort zone, make it into our media, because whether we like it or not, equality is the future. God, just saying that sounds...
I don't mind equality, right? I don't mind equality specifically, but it doesn't need to be in everything, okay? There's like specific things for specific people, like how there is specific foods that taste really good for specific people, while other people don't like it. There's an option for people who love it will grab it or so. It's the same thing it should be for video games as well. There should be options or so for people who want to play these specific types of games, but don't forget where the roots came from, where it originally was, where there was mostly a lot of male protagonists, a lot of like very alpha, very giga chad, very like masculine, very like alpha kind of, very alpha kind of males, right? Like hot guys, So like even sometimes when I look back on some of the male characters, right? I think they're personally fucking hot in my personal opinion. But like, like I said, like I don't mind diversity. But then I don't mind if a game just has only white people in it either. It's not like I'm gonna get offended or anything like that. It's like it's okay. I'm playing a video game. I'm playing a video game at the end of the day. I'm here to see the story. I'm here to see the gameplay. I'm here to see the mechanics. Does it feel good? Does it not feel good? So yeah, like I said, just have if you want to have this diversity, have this diversity. That's fine. But at the same time, right? There's just some people who just want to make complete white cast. And that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that either too. Yeah, because look, Concord decided to make their own game, right? And then they added diversity into it, right? But you know what the problem is specifically about the game itself? The game is bad. It's shit. It's not that great. The game itself is just not that great. It doesn't matter about the woke stuff or any of like, oh, there's a black girl or anything like that. Let's be honest here. Some of the character designs are just not that great in the game. I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of the character designs are not that great. I'd rather go play fucking First Descendant, right? Where there's like a hot fucking female girl or so on there, and a hot dude, and I'd rather go look at that in my personal opinion than play Concord in my personal opinion, because none of the characters I've seen all the characters for Concord, and all of them look ugly in my personal opinion. I think there's like one character that I can let it slide or so, but that's about it though. Like it just feels like an off brand of Guardians of the Galaxy, which I kind of understand that's what they're inspired from, right? But the problem is like the production and everything that they did specifically for the game itself. It just felt like it was going to be a single player game, but it was not a single player game. That's what I initially thought. I thought it was going to be a single player game, with multiplayer aspect to it. But no, it's an online PvP kind of hero shooter type of thing, But when the beta came out specifically for the game, a lot of people just didn't like the game. That's it. It just wasn't doing that great and it just wasn't good.
Sounds so cheesy. And I'm not talking about our lifetime. I'm talking generations and generations into the future. Because honestly, it ain't happening anytime soon. By the way, I'm not excluding myself from any of this. I am part of the problem. I shouldn't even call it a problem. It's more of a topic of conversation. As someone who usually sits on the sidelines while these discussions are being had, I have my own biases, but that simply comes from years of conditioning in a life lived in a way that is unique to me, a life that is considered normal to me but not to the next person. So when we see
What do you mean by normal? What do you mean by that? As in like you're used to the whole diversity thing? Is that what you're trying to explain here? Like you were surrounded with the whole diverse kind of like, oh yeah, I'm used to the whole, having a black protagonist and or whatever other shit.
people from other walks of life, we gotta remember that to them, they see normal, where we see something that is completely alien to us. Look, there's a lot.
They completely see you guys as aliens. They completely see us specifically as aliens. I don't know about that. I don't know about that in my personal opinion, because there's been like multiple times there's been characters that are like of colored or so that are female as well in the older games too. Like I know from Nathan Drake specifically, they had that one female girl. She was dark skin tone. Um and then they had the one from Resident Evil specifically. I don't know which Resident Evil it is, but I remember you had to go in Africa or so specifically. I'm trying to think of these off the top of my head, but I'm like I can be here for hours trying to search up which ones they are so specifically. So I'm trying to do them off the top of my head. So like I said, I never played that many video games when I was younger, but I've seen YouTube videos for some of them anyways. So
A lot more to be
apparently,
said here, but I don't think I should be the one saying it. There's definitely better people out there who are more educated on the matter. I will say, people like me who claim that the only thing that matters is how well written the character is, that cannot be true, not completely. There's no way you can be completely unbiased in any way. That would make you the perfect person, which I don't believe there is one. But I will say, you're doing a fucking amazing job of simply keeping the peace and just being accepting and open. But hey, me sitting here singing Kumbaya is not gonna make anyone change their minds about how they feel. In fact, I'm not asking you to take sides. I'm simply asking to be more understanding. So, just to reiterate, this is my point of view as someone who never engages in these conversations. I thought I'd challenge myself by stepping out of my comfort zone and keeping with today's theme. One thing I do ask of you is if you're gonna comment, please keep it respectful down there. Well, that's it for this one. I want to thank you for making.
That's a bad. That's rule number one on the internet. You don't want to. You don't want to tell your comment section, "Hey, keep it civilized," or keep it, for this kind of specific topic,
This far. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. If it gets
because some of them would be like, nah, but it's the internet. Expect the unexpected. Let's see what the comment says. It's not that they're putting it in the games, it's why they're doing it. Gamers have been playing video games, for decades, so we know when the games are being disingenuous with their intentions of a black or gay character. Really, this game has African main character in the anime, and the enemies are blankly white colonists. This is DEI slop, full stop. I didn't even know about that, to be honest. The problem is that they're making characters whose wild point is look at my skin tone, and the characters end up being boring. Make good characters by making them interesting. You're still naive and misinformed. The protagonist of Flintlock was originally white and later was changed to a person of color. So clearly, Sweet Baby Inc. did alter the game. Yeah. So this specific thing right here, right? This was the most common one or so that I was seeing specifically, that originally the character was supposed to be white. But then, of course, Sweet Baby Inc., decided to change it to a person of color. So, and then apparently, specifically, the character itself was just not that great. The main character itself was just not that great, personally. So, yeah, it was just, the game is just mediocre. I get it. If you like mediocre games, that is fine. If you like mediocre games, that's fine. That is up to you at the end of the day. But for me specifically, I'm not gonna waste my time, right? It's like the same thing with Zenless Zone Zero. I just didn't like Zenless Zone Zero. I don't like Zenless Zone Zero. I think it's pretty average. It's pretty boring. Probably one of the weakest and in ult animations compared to their other Hoyo games, right? Compared to Honkai Star Rail, compared to what Honkai Impact Third, and then some of the ultimates from Genshin Impact are just more interesting compared to Zenless Zone Zero, So that's pretty much it, But like at the end of the day, right? It's just kind of like, I'm like, hey man, if you like it, that's fine, Like it's not a huge big deal at the end of the day, But like for you to be like kind of like us having some sort of blame, right? Like our fault or so for them making a average product, then no, it's not our fault. It's literally not our fault that they made an average product. They're making a product and they're trying to sell it to you. But if the product is pretty average or terrible, you're not gonna buy it, right? No one's gonna buy it. So it's just like we're not the ones who are at fault here. They're the ones who made the game. They're the ones who made the decisions of the gameplay mechanics and everything else, right? So then it's just kind of like that's on them, You can say, oh, but because he's saying, oh no, Sweet Baby Inc. has nothing to do with it. Okay, if Sweet Baby Inc. has nothing to do with it specifically, right? But the game's dev studios, right, took the mechanics, right, and they approved the mechanics of what they want to do in the game. They approved the story specifically, right? They approved how they wanted to do the story, and then everything else, right? It's still their fault at the end of the day, So yeah, of course. At the end of the day, like, like some of the reviews or so on Steam exactly said like, oh, I can't really justify the price because some of the story aspects feels a little bit empty and kind of like the story just wasn't really great overall, you know? So some people just don't justify the price, you know, for specifically for the amount of content you get in the game. So apparently a lot of people played it around like 8 hours or so. So they finished it around like 8 hours. And then that's pretty much about it. So yeah, you know, I just wanted to see this specific video specifically because apparently, like, you know, yeah, of course, because we don't have that much. Because like games are expensive now these days, right? Your time is pretty precious now these days, right? Time is more precious now. You know, your money is more precious now when it comes to like what kind of game you want to sunk in your time and hours into. So it's just kind of like, you know, you know, like what do you want to choose? You know, if the game is just not that great, well then it's just not that great. You know, it's just it is what it is. So like I get it. If this guy likes it, that's fine. You know, that is okay if this person likes the game. You know, it's fine. It's not a huge deal at the end of the day. But anyways, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to see this specific video because apparently apparently the title says there's too many people of color in my game, which kind of interested me specifically. So anyways, that's pretty much it. That's the end of the video.